Hello everyone, welcome back. People all over the world are joining voices together to ask this Tinubu government to release Nnamdi Kanu before things get out of hand. I hope you guys saw what happened today. Like Nigerians shake Aso Rock. Like Tinubu government, they are really panicking. Yes, and thanks to God that no one died in this protest today. Like I am so happy that we did not hear any news of death. Yes. So in this video, Mama P, Sowore, and one of Nnamdi Kanu's lawyers blast and mock Bayo and Onanuga, who said that they need to sanction Barrister Aloy Ejimakor for joining this protest. My people, I want you guys to take a listen and hear everything that happened today in this free Nnamdi Kanu now protest, as well as what Kenneth Okonkwo said. Take a listen.
Tear gas na water, bullets na skincare, injury na sunscreen. We dey use am guide. If the police had not tear gassed us today, had not injured us today, had not beaten us up today, we would be surprised. We would have known that we are not in Nigeria. We are probably in Togo or Benin. Do you understand? So whatever they are doing is the modus operandi. This is what we know them for. That is why the more they resist, the more we insist. Yes. The demands are simple. We are not even talking about bad governance. Even if this reflects bad governance, we are saying free Nnamdi Kanu. And that's on period. That's what we're asking. Is it too much? They saw Ashwebi for bandits now. They saw Ashoke for terrorists. And they say they rebranded them in hundreds, thousands. Send them back into the society. Kidnappers, rapists, send them back into the same society. And then Nnamdi Kanu, that has probably not killed anybody. You know, it's for the courts to decide. He's been held down. Why are you holding him down? Why are they holding him down? They want to use and do ritual. Why exactly are they holding Nnamdi Kanu down? If you get waiting, we don't know, make them tell us. Because at this point, it's only natural that you free him. The various courts have said, release him. Release him. Why are they flaunting court orders? Why are they flaunting court order? Is it not at this point we tell them that they are mad? Because whoever flaunts the judicial orders, the court orders, is not normal now. Abi, I'm trying to use my words so that they will not come and say cyberbullying and cyberstalking. Because we know it's people like us that made them pass the cyberbullying act and cyberstalking. So we are just here demanding.
If you see a thief, call a thief.
So we are just here demanding.
Governors are also saying
freedom of
it's not right because they believe that what Nnamdi Kanu stands for is against their own ideology. What do you have to say to them?
What Nnamdi Kanu stands
the Southeast
for
governors
is against their own ideology.
Yes.
Let him come outside and tell us that. I'm not aware of that.
We have Soludo, we have I think Hope Uzodinma at a time.
Hope Uzodinma that came out fourth in an election. Is Hope Uzodinma supposed to be a governor? Have you visited Imo states? Do they have a governor there? Hope Uzodinma is not supposed to be a governor. Hope Uzodinma is an APC governor that came out fourth in an election. The Supreme Court gave him winner. You don't understand. They did an election, and then the person that came out fourth was declared governor in courts. That's how Hope Uzodinma came now. People should go and check the history of Hope Uzodinma. People are scared to talk about him. But you know me, I'm the one always ready to die. So when you see people like that take stands, you don't expect them to take the right stand when you came in through the wrong way. Do you understand? So their voice does not matter. It's voice populi, voice dei. The voice of the people is what is actually the voice of God, not the voice of governors. So the people are saying enough of this charade. Free this young man. The other day, the man was saying that he needs to go for treatment. He doesn't want to die in detention. And the police, everybody, the agencies turned a blind eye. We cannot keep watching this injustice. It's pure injustice. And so today we are out here demanding for the freedom of a man who deserves to be free.
I would like you to react to the presidency's remark that Kanu's lawyer should be punished for joining the protest.
The presidency said that, yes, that Kanu's lawyer should be
Bayo Onanuga.
Those are people that should go to rehab now. Can't you see his tweets? A presidential spokesman sounding like a teenage, like a juvenile. Have you not read his tweets? Whenever I read Bayo's tweets, Bayo is the exact example of what a presidential spokesman should never be. You know, as useless as the speeches of Renaud Mokri is, he's still better than Bayo. You see, So Bayo is in the pits of the pits. I don't read the streets. So whatever he says is inconsequential. Even the president should be ashamed for naming such a person his spokesperson. So I don't take him serious.
Thank you so much.
It has been clear and it remains clear. Free Nnamdi Kanu now. You see, we cannot continue to stay in a society where impunity reigns and those who are destroying the fabrics, every fabric of our institutions in this society are left to roam freely, left to manage and mismanage our commonwealth, left to make policies that are anti-people, left to carry out various injustices, left to sponsor security and insecurity. And we look at these same scallywags in power, mismanaging Nigeria, enthroning impunity, destroying institutions, and yet we look at them and move on. How do we do that as a people? I still can't comprehend. People are dying on a daily basis. Plateau, Benue, Zamfara, Katsina, terrorism, poor healthcare, hunger, poverty. 139 million people living in multidimensional poverty, and we are still here in 2025 clamoring for Nnamdi Kanu to be released when he was already extraordinarily renditioned from Kenya. The people under whose watch they perpetrated such injustice, the former AGF, Malami, during the Buhari's regime, and all of them are still clamoring today and deceiving Nigerians that they are in a coalition, they want to save Nigeria. So we keep running around like a rat race in circles. Enough is enough, we can't keep deceiving ourselves. Nigeria will never be liberated until there is a revolution, and we are clear about that. The people who are looking up to change Nigeria, Tinubu, Akpabio, Wike, all of them in the APC that have been declared terrorists by Canadian courts, they will never repent. They will never repent. So it's up to us to choose our date for freedom. Our oppressors will never give us a date they want to set us free. But we, the oppressed, can choose a date that we want to be free. And until we rise up in our masses, all these tear gas, bullets, rubber bullets, and the rest, when we rise up in our masses, they will be the ones either joining our struggle or scampering for their own safety, even when nobody is harassing them. Because they won't be comfortable with the midst of angry Nigerians in their millions. When even the police are tear gassing us today, look at them. A CSP retires from police. His gratuity is not more than 1.5 million. He will not get it immediately until 1 year after he has retired. And when he has retired, look at a lot of the policemen. Their pension, 18,000, 15,000 naira pension. What will a retired policeman do with 15,000 naira pension or 18,000 naira pension? When you owed him his gratuity for 1 whole year before paying him, he must have been indebted even before that money was paid to him. So when you see all these anomalies in Nigeria looking like a normal thing, you know that something is fundamentally wrong with the Nigerian people. And that's why we come out every now and then. I'm not an Igbo guy, even though I have Igbo blood in me. But injustice to one is injustice to all. And we must stop condoning this impunity. It embodies the oppressor. That we keep quiet and allow them mismanage our space, both politically, economically, and otherwise. It embodies them to continue to do more. But that we rise up every day. Today we had 4 services in this town, the Amayama Day. And we are going to announce a new date. And eventually, the fear that has crippled Nigerians in their shells will be broken and they will fall out on the streets. And that day, when the revolution will be ripe, all oppressors will run away.
In the course of today's activities, some comrades have been arrested, some comrades have been detained. Amongst those who have been detained are lawyers, comrades who offense is just to ask for good governance, it's just to ask for free Nnamdi Kanu. We also learned that his brother was arrested. At the end of the day, we have gone to the first set. We were first here. They directed us to the command, the first PRO, FCT command. We spoke with her. She closed us down to first headquarters. After we had calls and there was this conversation, okay, you guys should come by the first PRO now, first headquarters. We went there, he no longer picks our calls. And some of our comrades and lawyers have been detained here in the facility, and we learned that a good number of them are also detained in Napo. So that's why we are here. And we are here to ask them for the unconditional release of these persons. They've not done any wrong. The only crime they have committed is asking for the release of a freeborn Nnamdi Kanu. So we're here now. Some senior comrades have gone in with some lawyers to go do this inquiry and have our message sent to them, the unconditional release of our comrades, of those who have been arrested, those who have been detained. But this is for you to know that this is the same police we fight for on a daily basis. Because they cannot be on the street to fight, we do the fights, we do everything for them. But this is how they pay us. You saw how they shot live ammunition today at protesters. You saw how they tear gas protesters. You saw the clampdown, you saw the beating, you saw the harassment. For the same people we fight for. But posterity, we know will never be kind to those who stand against the will of justice. So it's a message to them. Release our comrades unconditionally. That's how we're here. So we await what the senior comrades and others who have gone in will come say to us, or we start another protest down here. We're not scared of the bullets because justice is what we're asking for, and justice we must get.
I would like you to react to the presidency's call that Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer should be dealt with for joining the protest while the case is still in court.
Who said that?
Bayo Onanuga.
No, I don't think.
I am Nnamdi Kanu's lawyer. I protested. And I'll be begging them here to arrest me. Mandela. Yes.
What's his lawyer's offense?
Yes.
What would be the offense of the lawyer? Basis? What would be the basis for arresting the lawyers for protesting?
This guy, sir, we're asking you a question. On what basis?
On what basis did he say they should arrest the lawyer?
That he's not supposed to join the protest while the case is still in court.
So is there any code of conduct of lawyers that say they can't protest?
Yes.
Best lawyers, one of the best protesters.
The lawyer has a separate constitution, and the other Nigeria have a separate constitution. It's one constitution they have. The lawyer is a person, and the same right are used to
if they don't release Nnamdi Kanu, senior advocates of Nigeria will join this.
Yes.
APC police force.
Doctors will join this protest.
Yes.
Even surgeons, like people where you say no get time, nurses, everybody will join.
We'll join.
We're about to announce another date, and that one will be bigger. It will be the mother of all protests.
Exactly.
So they have a chance now. You know when we were saying it, they thought it was a play. They thought it was play a few days ago when we say we are going to shut down this Abuja. Nothing happened in Abuja today. Even the judge that gave the order that we should not do protest, asked us to come back today. I heard he did not sit. He couldn't make it to his office. So we are not playing. We are not playing, but we are working to get our protesters, the legally arrested protesters.
Okay, to the FCT police and how they were shooting tear gas at every other person. What would be your message to him, seeing that he just assumed?
I don't message police because I know that we are going to have to fight for them again, you know, when they don't pay their pension and gratuity. Yes. Is to let them know anybody who is actively oppressing others now. They should look at what is happening to the former policemen who used to oppress others. They see them. We are the one fighting for them.
Comes around.
So, if you like, keep supporting oppression. It will get to you. There is no question about it. There's enough of this injustice to go around. We have been fighting for policemen, both serving and our struggle for policemen got 29,000 policemen promoted in this country. Some of them had not been promoted for 8 years. Yes. We got even the retired policemen that we are fighting for. They said they have finally found some of their money. They have increased their gratuity and pension. But our position as far as police is concerned is that we must exit this. I think they call it CPS.
Yes.
I call it a Ponzi scheme.
Yes.
You know, the contributory Ponzi scheme. No, it's Ponzi scheme.
What a tag.
But this one is. Let me thank everybody today. This massive, successful outing. Yes, it is massive. They may be hiding it, but this really got them.
Of course,
yes. We're not making a statement. We told them this is not about making a statement. It's about getting Nnamdi Kanu
free him.
What all of them here? Yes. So we are trying to check if anybody is detained at Apple. Okay. If anybody is detained at Apple, let us know because we want to resolve everybody's case.
Very necessary.
But I told them, say, Nami, organize the protest. Why are you arresting other people?
Other people.
No, that carry me.
Yes.
They don't get issue. They say they don't get any issue with me. I say I have
problem with it. Trailer load of problems.
So no cause for alarm. We just want to come and brief you.
Yes.
We'll go back inside.
We'll go back inside
keep processing the.
all of them that are here. They are releasing them today. Now. So you people stay behind.
I still remember myself, James Mike, popularly known as Flag Boy, aka you talk, you die, you don't talk, you go still die. You can imagine how incompetent and useless the Nigerian military and police, civil defense, DSS and the rest has become. In a country whereby insecurity has become the order of the day, we lack our armed forces to protect us. They cannot protect us, but if they see peaceful protesters, they will have the courage, they will come out to show manpower. In a country whereby every day you hear about bandits, every day you hear about kidnapping, police officers cannot go and pursue them. The same police that cannot stop insecurity. But when they see peaceful protesters, they will just come out to shoot guns, shoot tear gas. We are bombarded with tear gas throughout today. I'm like, I ran into a bush. These useless people were still chasing after us, shooting tear gas and live ammunition at us. Peaceful protesters, what did we do? Exercising our constitutional right. Is it a crime? It's not a crime. As long as we are still in democracy, I will protest every day of my life. And nobody can stop me from protesting. Not even the president, not even the Inspector General of Police that has expired in his office. Nobody, even at Bayo, cannot stop me. I would rather die than to fold my hand and keep silent. We are in democracy. We are not in military government. Even during the military government, comrade by Sowore protested. We are in democracy, so I have every right to protest. Look at it. I'm a proudly Nigerian. So no Nigerian is more Nigerian than myself. Mr. President is just there in that office using our taxpayers' money to mobilize police, army, DSS to come and shoot at peaceful protesters. The same police that I, James Mike, aka Flag Boy, aka you talk you die, have been protesting for them to pay them good salary. I stood at the National Assembly for days protesting for Nigerian police. All they could do is to come out and tear gas me. After how many days I've been going to National Assembly, to Force Headquarters, to protest on behalf of Nigerian police. Nobody is paying me £1. No police gave me bottled water to drink. No police gave me food to eat. I stood for weeks protesting for Nigerian police. For them to be removed from that useless pension scam scheme that they put Nigerian police inside. After 35 days of service, you'll be giving Nigerian police 2 million, 1.5 million. I stood under the sun, under the rain to protest for them. The only thing the thank you Nigerian police have to tell me today is to tear gas me, because I came out to exercise my franchise as a Nigerian. We are saying no to it. We are saying no to any manner of oppression. No Nigerian is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. So nobody has the right to tell us when to protest, to tell us when not to protest, to tell us where to go and protest. I can decide to go inside the Force Headquarters and protest, pass arrest. As a Nigerian, President Bola Tinubu, I want to advise you as a Nigerian. Yes. If you don't want us to protest, then you do the needful. Fix the country. Release Nnamdi Kanu. If you can release bandits, President Bola Tinubu, if you can release cocaine dealers, drug barons and the rest, release Nnamdi Kanu, release Abakare. They deserve freedom. They deserve to unite with their family. They are all Nigerians, and we are all Nigerians. And I'm standing on the mandate that any oppression to any Nigerian is an oppression to all Nigerians. An injustice to one is an injustice to all. So we are standing on that mandate. Free Nnamdi Kanu. Free Nnamdi Kanu. Free Nnamdi Kanu unconditionally.
Just now.
Kaluta continue.
Well, first and foremost, the Constitution is very clear. Section 36, subsection 5, that every Nigerian citizen is deemed to be innocent until proved guilty. A nation that detains a human being more than 7 years, and you have him in your custody, and yet he couldn't even reach a judgment as to the culpability of his crime, dispensation of justice Justice delayed is justice denied. When it comes to the issue of crime, the Constitution is very clear that the accused or defendant should be judged within a reasonable time. It is very unreasonable to keep a man in detention for almost 7 years. What are you judging? This is telling on the judicial process of Nigeria. I tell you again, in the Constitution, they say the Attorney General, while making any decision as to charging anybody, discontinuing or taking over any criminal charge, should have regard for public interest, the interest of justice, and the need not to abuse the legal process. For me, in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the legal processes have been abused. Nobody will remain sane to be in jail for more than 7 years that a case is being tried. People are frustrated. People believe that if you do not find anything against this man, release him or reach a political solution. That is what is bringing all these things. It's a result of frustration that there is no interest of justice served in this. So, diligent prosecution is one of the pillars of justice in a criminal offense. I do not see that diligence. And the federal government is failing on all fronts. Remember, we have pleaded that this should be treated as a political issue and settled out politically so that every party will go home in peace. And then you are the one who arrested him. You are the one who put him on trial. You are the one who is delaying for up to 7 years without giving clear justice. So the federal government is failing on all rounds. And as they keep failing, they are making their matters worse.
So do you think this is really, you've said this is a political issue.
It should be a political issue.
It should be.
Yes.
But is it?
That's what I'm saying. The government should treat it as a political issue. Remember, during the colonial masters, where people were fighting for our independence, the colonial masters saw them also as adversaries. But they were genuine fighters of freedom. So in this world, there will always be two aspects of an issue. You know, the kind of cost-benefit issue, if it is in business. What is a cost to somebody is a benefit to another. That is how you treat political issues. To some people, he's fighting and agitating for their rights and freedom. You should also take that into consideration. To you, you may say he may have infringed on some laws. Why doing that? You should take that into consideration. And if you're a wise government, you will come to a negotiation table and let each side make a shift and come to a compromise and settle this issue politically.
The issue which he agitates for, which IPOB has agitated for years, is something that countries generally find very difficult to deal with, which is the issue of self-determination. How do you think that can be resolved, given the fact that even if the federal government were to say, look, politically, we release him today, that certainly would not stop the agitations for people who believe that they should be given a separate country of their own?
Very good. And that is why you should not attribute it to him, that he is the originator and the perpetrator of this. I think it predates him. Certainly. And might even outlive him. So it is about the government learning how to treat agitators and how to dialogue with them. Because as you have aptly stated it didn't start with him. We've had MASOP, we've had other organizations. It may certainly not end with him. So it's about people expressing in their different ways their manners of frustration with the system. When things were so good in Nigeria, I wasn't hearing all these agitations. But whatever name you call them, it is frustration to the suffering, to the hunger and hardship in the country. That is the truth.
I was going to ask though, what side are you on? Are you on the side of the protesters? Do you support their cause? Or do you think that since this matter is already in court, pressure should be applied to the federal government to let this matter run as quickly as possible?
Very good. I am on the side of rule of law. I just told you that Nigerians have the right to protest. Section 40. And you can't take it away from them. It's their natural right. innate in them. And the Supreme Court has said, beyond exercising these rights, no human being can live a civilized life. So it is their innate natural right to protest. And it should be encouraged in a democracy. Because when you bottle up all these things, then there will be an implosion, an explosion. But when people are allowed to express themselves, according to Section 39, they will ease off their anger, they will feel they've been heard, and then the government will also use it to understand the feeling of the people and know the solutions they are from and they are at. So the issue is that it is a support to rule of law. What does rule of law say? Somebody is innocent until you prove him guilty. And you must prove him guilty within a reasonable time. When it's unreasonable, it's no longer rule of law. And for me, keeping somebody for 7 years in the name of trial is unreasonable. So, whatever it is, it should end now. Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Either the justice system moves at the speed it ought to move. In our laws, criminal trial ought to be held every day until judgment. That is what the law says. So I am on the side of law. I'm on the side of justice. Whether there's marginalization against the Southeast, that is given. So whether people will agitate, that is legal. Their method of agitation should also be legal. And if the government believes somebody has exceeded, then when you're applying the law, apply it legally, judiciously, and judicially. And in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, with respect, I can say they have not lived up to it.
Today is also the 5th anniversary of the NSAS protest. That was one protest that we saw a lot of young people come out to express their displeasure with the way the Nigeria police, or will I say an arm of the Nigeria police, had treated a number of young people over the years, indiscriminate detention. And after a while, the protest morphed into something else. It morphed into a general protest of complaint against the state in general and the state of affairs. Sadly, that protest did not end well. I mean, in terms of the conflict that degenerated between federal government forces and the protesters. And that had implications for a lot of people, had implications for businesses. I mean, we saw what happened afterwards, the aftermath. Those sort of protests are declared. People usually are very cautious. Businesses are wary. How do we balance this need for protest? How do we balance this need for protest? How do we balance this need for protest, which is a legitimate right, and the fears? Because the protesters, yes, they're protesting a certain cause, and I'm sure a lot of people share their cause for justice, but they also fear that it might not end well. At the end of the day, it affects whatever little that they have been able to build within the system. On a sister program this morning, we saw, a complainant come to talk about how the government of the day has pulled down the little business that they have been able to build. That is a demolition, is something different. But when protests now generate to something that actually affects lives and livelihoods, how do we call that balance?
This is where the efficiency from the state comes into view. Abroad, it is the duty of the security agencies to maintain law and order. And that includes protecting the protesters and ensuring that they are doing their protest in accordance with the law. There's nothing wrong with the police guiding the protesters on the ways they should protest to make sure that it remains peaceful. If you recall, just like you have enunciated the issue of the NSAS, when it started, one of their demands was the welfare of the police. Telling you everybody in Nigeria is under torture. Telling you the nation and the government has failed everybody, including the security agencies. We have seen it. That's why I said most of what you're seeing in Nigeria is a manifestation of the suffering, of the hunger and hardship in the system, including that of the security agencies. When a man has not eaten from morning and is carrying a rifle, he is always triggered and can be irrational in his behavior against human beings. So the whole idea is that things are not working because the indices are not doing well. And the government is reading out statistics that is more tormenting You know what George Sylvester said? He said, when a nation's growth is on paper, but its people sinks in hunger, say that's not progress. That is polished poverty, wearing a mask of statistics. So when people are suffering and the government of the day is using fake statistics to mask their suffering, it becomes more frustrating because they know there is no end in sight. Because when the government is making that mask, they are hiding under a mischief for the suffering to continue, not a sincere desire to bring about solutions. So Nigeria has become a theater where the government is not governing well and the people are not trusting the government. And that is what you're seeing in the protests. When the NSAS met with government agreed at the initial stage to answer all their demands. But you could still see that lack of trust. They will still go and sit down and say, until we see it implemented. Because to them, once we leave this arena, it will be forgotten. And in all honesty, what they said was right. ASO went into agreement with federal government since 2009. Immediately they leave the table, the government forgets it. Till today, 2009 agreement is still being brought to the fore, and strike is being called because of it. So government must live up to the true meaning of its name, protecting the security and welfare of the people and ensuring under the concept of pacta sunt servanda that a party to an agreement must respect the terms of the agreement. If the government starts respecting the agreement it has with Nigerian people, starting from the social contract, this will build trust in the minds of the people, and continually that trust will build. And when the government makes a promise, the people will not sit down and say, you must fulfill it before we leave here. That is what is going on.
All right, I'm not alone on this program. I know that my colleague Ayo certainly has questions for you. Ayo, over to you.
Well, thank you, Markwe. I think quite significantly a number of things are being covered. But Mr. Okonkwo, I'd like, and you've spoken to a few things, and I'd like you to, help us understand what are the missing links here. You've cited the ASU Federal Government 2009 agreement. You've also referenced the fact that the issues that brought up the Free Nnamdi Kanu protest predated Nnamdi Kanu and may even outlive him. You're probably referring to the Civil War and the fact that, as you also said earlier, the Saudis, the kind of political sidelining, if I can use that term, of the Saudis is something you said, according to your precise word, is a given. And there are a number of other things. You talked about the NSAS, that the issues of NSAS were more about welfare of the police as opposed to, just agitation for agitation's sake. Between 2009 and 2025, a good number of people that were in government are no longer in government. Well, supposedly. Between the Civil War and now, so many waters have passed under the bridge. It begs the question of exactly how do we forestall these kinds of protests? If government is a continuum, where do we have the roadblocks that hinder the progress that should have taken us way beyond this place, such that we won't have the protests of issues that date back decades?
Very good. The simple answer to your question is Nigeria is under the siege of incompetent and corrupt leaders. Can you imagine in a nation if the money invested in our refineries had been used to repair our refineries and they are working and we are not importing and fuel is very cheap? In other words, you have reasonable energy cost. Can you imagine in a nation where our educational institution has continued its growth right from 1960 without this abuse on the lecturers and the students through meager salary and through not taking care of the environment of learning? Can you imagine if such an educational institution is empowered with the resources it needs? Can you imagine if our healthcare system is working as it's supposed to work? Can you imagine a nation that is blessed with oil and with solid minerals? If these minerals have been harnessed and there is fair distribution of wealth amongst everybody, can you imagine such a nation? Do you think there would be agitations? People wouldn't even have the time. They would be busy working. They would be busy inventing. Can you imagine a nation if all the money pumped into electricity, they have utilized it to give us 24 hours electricity? Can you imagine who is going to go to protest? People are going to protest because they are idle. They are hungry. Things are hard. It is not because they want to go and risk their lives using their head to defend a bullet. Nigeria is a nation that is potentially great. And on the day we have free, fair, credible election that will help us to elect competent leaders who would have the people as their focus.
And that brings the
in 20 years we'll become a superpower nation.
My apologies,
I have
Mr.
prayed,
Okonkwo.
and I
Just a
believe
second.
that in my generation, I
Yes.
shall see this country metamorphose into that.
Now, that raises the question. Just a second. Just a second, sir.
Failure of leadership.
Just 1 second, Mr. Okonkwo. Perhaps that raises the question. When you talk about the fact that, elected officials and all, it raises the question of, when we talk about government, exactly who is government? Between 1966, 67, and now, we've had quite a number of governments. But there is always a continuum. That is what we expect is the case. Since 2009 and now, the maximum number of years an elected official has is 4 years, renewable every 4 years. Only for 2 terms for the executive, and I'm not sure what the term is for legislators. But we have civil servants that are always there, maximum 35 years or until they turn a particular age. So where is the but? Is the question that I'm asking. Do you think the civil service could have helped to bring to their attention the elected officials, to the attention of the elected officials, that, guys, these outstanding issues are there? Or do you think it is something that, every elected official just comes and just ends what was on ground before? I don't know if you understand the question I'm asking.
Yes. If I understood you very well, you're talking about the civil service, the elected people, who is to be blamed, or how would the solution come? The truth is that what we are suffering in Nigeria is systemic corruption. It is systemic because there is no deterrence. In a nation where corruption is not deterred, when you want to fight it, you are at a risk. The civil servants are now colluding with the politicians to extort Nigeria for their benefit. So the issue here is that you see how corruption is walking on 2 legs, and even the ones that are charged, convicted down to Supreme Court, you will see politicians like Tinubu just did, pardoning some corrupt people that even the Supreme Court has declared corrupt and jailed.
Yeah, but
when you pardon such people,
let me just quickly
you're sending a message to people that there is no need. They are sticking out their neck against such people because such people will come back to the system as elected and they will begin to take their pound of flesh on the people that genuinely fought that they should be punished.
So, Mr. Okonkwo, just a moment though.
Yes.
I mean, because some people say where there is no sin, there is no need for pardon. I mean,
Yes.
where no crime has been committed and conviction secured, there will be no need for pardon. And so the people perhaps who need a pardon are those who have been convicted,
Yes.
Even by the Supreme Court. And in reaction to the uproar that the public outcry, so to speak, we saw a message from the Attorney General's office saying that it's not the last word had not been heard on it. That there is a review still going on because they have to now take a second look at it and then give the list to the Comptroller General of Prisons or the Correction Service, and that is yet to your mind. What do you think, or do you think that there is really a space? Because I've also heard lawyers say this is medicine after death. If the president has already given his pardon to these people and it's gone to the Council of State, there is nothing more that can be done. What are your thoughts, especially as a lawyer?
You see, this government keeps exposing its incompetence every day. Does it mean that they talk before they think? After announcing people, after going through the Council of State, you have come down to sit down to say you want to review the process. That is in itself incompetence, standing on two legs. But let me tell you the story of what one justice said. One brilliant justice from the Southwest. He said he was transferred to a city. And in that city, he was welcomed with newspaper review. People knocked down, killed on the road. Careless drivers. Accident. Know what he said? He said when he sat down, the first case they brought to him, he gave the person a very harsh sentence to jail. The person that killed somebody, a driver. He said he did it the second time, and he said it ceased. Why am I saying this? The whole idea of punishment is not in the desire of any country to inflict injuries on its citizens, but for deterrence. Nobody is rejoicing that some people are in jail or some people are facing execution. But how do you deter others from doing it? So what Tinubu is doing is encouraging people to do it. So nobody is saying that to be merciful is not good. No. But you have to matchmake what you are trying to be merciful at with the justice of the situation and the public interest. I told you this. Section 174, subsection 3 of the Constitution. You have to check the public interest. Somebody murdered, a lady murdered the husband in cold blood. And you're telling me, oh, release her. You will see other people on the same matter, murdering their husbands the next day. Everybody has one problem or the other. But when you remember what the consequences will be, then you will forbear. You will take a better option, apart from shedding innocent blood. Do you know what it means theologically? And I talk as a theologian. It says the blood of the murderer that is needed to clean out the cry of the blood of the innocent against the land. That's there in the Bible. The blood cries against the land when you murder an innocent person. And if you are a leader and you go to ignorantly forgive such a person who murdered without a cause, you have become an accomplice spiritually to that blood that is crying against the land. We have to be very careful. You must exercise the privilege of pardon or prerogative of mercy, having the interest of the public, having the interest of justice, and making sure you do not abuse the legal process.
So is it too late?
To do what?
To review it.
You know, with this government, anything is possible. For me, I may not say it is too late. I'm saying it's not right for you to do something and then create an impression in the mind of somebody that you have forgiven, and then coming back to say, no, I have not forgiven again. It is simply distasteful, and for me, whether it is right or wrong, it's inelegant. And this government speaks volume. And the Attorney General of the Federation, I'm sorry, he has not impressed me on this. Because he's the chairman of such committee that makes such recommendation. So what is he saying? Is he coming to tell us now that he didn't know what he was doing when he did that? Me, I believe they were wrong.
Well, it's a fine place to leave it, but we'll wait to see, just how the Office of the Attorney General reacts to some of the legal issues that have been raised with the review, which he says might still be possible with the pardon that has been granted by the president. But
so, my people, that is it. They're all spoken like very well done to Sowore. Just as someone said that if you rejoice over injustice because it favors you, one day you shall also cry for justice and it will not come to you. Just as what counter protesters did today, when they interviewed them, they said that they don't want Nigerians to pressure Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu. That Tinubu will release Nnamdi Kanu when Tinubu wants to release Nnamdi Kanu. That Nigeria should obey court order. court order that said that there will be no protest. They are talking about court order. What about court order that discharged and acquitted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Have you seen the hypocrisy? So Ohaneze Ndi Igbo extended free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu now protest to October 25th. The killers operation Occupy Abuja. Hey, my people, it is getting interesting because according to Sowore, except they release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, this protest will continue. And under what Ohaneze Ndi Igbo said, someone said, this is the spirit. Nigeria youth should take this advantage of this protest. Join the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Any child that says his mother would not sleep, that child too will not sleep. This so-called body should be careful because we are not Banana Republic. And another person said, the only way this will be effective is if all of the Nigerians come out together to protest. Whoever has anticipated, there are certain groups that may not want to participate in this protest because Nnamdi Kanu is Igbo. And this person said, the Fulani Janjaweed should be showed that they do not own Nigeria. The same APC government negotiating with terrorists and bandits in the northwest and east. Terrorists that even came to the negotiating venue fully armed are shooting live bullets at unarmed civilians. Shame. My people, no be smart, interesting days ahead. So, as I make I bring this update to you guys, I don't know what you think. I would love you guys to leave your thoughts in the comment section about what Sowore, Mama P, others as well as Kenneth Okonkwo said in this video. Do well to subscribe for more updates and also share the video, like it. I will see you guys in my next update. Goodbye for now.
Welcome to News TV. Call off into sleep.